Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Race for Vets. Do appreciate you showing up today. Got a good one today. Um, if you ever want to find out what's going to happen to America, what's going on, just look at other countries to see exactly what's going on. For the simple reason, when they have these summits, they all get together around the world, 400 jets at one time, a lot of carbon, a lot of fossil fuels, and they all talk. And what works with one country, they'll do over here to America because we're all people. We all have the same habits. We're a creature of habits. It's stupid and ridiculous what they're doing to us. We can't enjoy our lives, especially my age, myself. I worked hard and everything else. Thank God I do have the money, but the money's not going to be here very much longer when they have that CBDC, central bank digital currency. And everybody else is going to be in the same boat as I am. We're not going to be able to handle any paper money in our hands. It's going to be strictly crypto. But to show you what's going to happen to us in America, I want to show you this now. And by the way, a lot of you people out there, I'm proud of you. I heard that over 2 year time, over 1 million people have bought firearms. And this is the only thing that separates us from the government right now. They want to get rid of our weapons in any way they possibly can. So without further ado, let's start this and you decide what you think what's going to happen yourselves. Here we go. Thank you.
For days, chaos in Peru. Roadblocks on fire as protesters throw rocks and sticks at police. Authorities shooting tear gas into crowds as they march towards the legislative palace in Lima. A growing tension as President Pedro Castillo imposed a curfew Tuesday to quell recent anti-government protests over rising gas and food prices.
Hago un llamado a la calma, a la serenidad. La protesta social es un derecho constitucional, pero debe hacerse dentro del marco de la ley.
Less than 24 hours later, amid escalating manifestations, that curfew dropped.
Lo único que podemos hacer ahorita es unirnos y salir todos adelante.
Cansados del mal manejo, cansados de que nos esté gobernando alguien que no sabe gobernar.
The government confirming at least 4 people have died, 3 of them over the weekend in the city of Huancayo, inland where protests began.
La policía ha manejado con mucho tino para evitar costo social. Sin embargo, se ha producido 3 muertes, pero no por la policía.
The outrage over the government's response to protests, another hit for the man who came in promising economic stability and was just elected last June. In less than a year in office, he's already faced 2 impeachments. President Castillo's curfew and handling of the deadly protests raising concerns about rights violations. The country's national coordinator for human rights saying the state of emergency violates Peruvians' rights and accusing the national police of using disproportionate force against protesters. It's a delicate topic that for many Peruvians brings back memories of 1992. And amid social and economic unrest since jailed former President Alberto Fujimori shut down Peru's Congress and judicial system and sent tanks into the streets.
What do you think it was about the curfew specifically that made the Peruvian people say, okay, that's it?
Oh, well, first of all, not even in the worst times of COVID, not even in the worst years of terrorism, which Peru has been through, decades ago, was there this 24-hour shutdown with no preparation. So this was clearly seen as a reaction by a president who didn't know what else to do.
Inflation has been an issue in Peru for years. One worsened recently with the war in Ukraine, hitting a 26-year high in March. Before the curfew, the government proposed dropping most fuel taxes in an attempt to lower prices, while also raising the minimum wage about 10%. Those protesting saying it's not enough.
There had been work stoppages and there had been roadblocks before the curfew, but the reaction has just emboldened those who were protesting. And, I really feel that it was a measure that not only is the president surely deeply regretting, but that it may actually be a turning point downward for this government.
All right, Issa joins us now live in studio. Issa, a lot to talk about here. So the president, who's been described as center-left, has had a really rough go. You mentioned the 2 impeachments, but you were just telling me this curfew actually made things so much worse. It's been lifted now. Are things any better?
They're not, Tom. That's the short answer. Cynthia from the university there in Lima told us that this is really just going to continue to go downhill in her opinion. She does not expect things to quiet down. They have not in the last 24 hours. She especially does not expect things to quiet down for the president. She says that there have been calls for him to resign already, not only from members of the opposition, but from members of the government who used to support him, who voted for him to not get impeached the last 2 times, who are now saying that they're fed up and they're going against him as well. Cynthia said that she suspects this could possibly even end in a 3rd impeachment. That would truly be historic, Tom. Again, that would be the 3rd impeachment in less than a year. He just came into office last summer. So too early to tell right now if that's how this will end up. But
Moving on, in October, farmers in the Netherlands took a stand against the government's green crackdown. on the agricultural industry by gridlocking motorways, you'll remember, with thousands of tractors in peak hour traffic. The Dutch government, however, has not listened to the farmers and is now about to shut down, wait for this, 3,000 farms. They're going to close down. This is World Economic Forum and Klaus Schwab stuff on steroids. 3,000 farms are going to be shut down in a bid to comply with EU emissions standards. Ooh, methane. Ooh, nitrogen in the soil. Ooh, Chris Bowen. The effects of this scheme are going to be devastating for farmers, but it looks to be it's only the first step in what the EU are planning. Ralph Schulhammer is an assistant professor in economics and political science at Webster University, and he joins us now. Ralph, great to see you again. This is getting out of hand. The WEF crowd, your prime minister over there, shutting down 3,000 farms, and we also learn that in Germany, they're talking of stopping German farmers fertilizing their farms. I mean, this is insanity, isn't it, Ralph?
No, it is. And I think what we see is the Dutch are doing to the agricultural sector what the Germans did to the energy sector. And we all saw the consequences there. So we get the promises that, oh, this is not going to be a problem. We got to move to alternative modes of production, be it energy or agriculture. And in the end, they never work. I mean, you just mentioned the Germans. I mean, there's even more insanity. They want to become 30% of their agriculture to go organic, which means they would turn from a net exporter of agriculture to a net importer of agriculture, which is in times of global insecurity, I mean, we saw this with Russian gas, is complete insanity. And of course, the Dutch are doing the same, because these 3,000 farms is only the beginning. And the Dutch government is saying this, is that, oh, we're going to have to do much more in this respect. And it has to be stressed also for your viewers, nitrogen is an absolutely crucial ingredient for synthetic fertilizer. And without synthetic fertilizer, we could not feed the world. If we would not have it, about 4 billion people simply would have no access to food. So this is a war in many ways, I would argue, against humanism. It's a war against humanity, and most of it is by ideological goals, because I looked at the science. It is not clear that nitrogen really has the effect that the Dutch government claims. And even more importantly, the Dutch farmers are reducing the nitrogen use. So this is not that they're oblivious to these problems, but now they are pushed to do it faster and faster, because the dominant ideology, or I'm tempted to call it the cultish ideology, tells us if you don't change now, the world is going to end in 10 years, which of course it's not.
And they've learned nothing, obviously, from what we saw in Sri Lanka when they went organic. Yes. and people started not having enough food to eat.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is part of a larger story. I mean, remember Sri Lanka, if you go back 2 years, everybody was cheering them on. Sri Lanka, they show the way forward. Sri Lanka knows how to do it. They proved to the world that, in fact, you don't need fertilizer. You don't need any kind of synthetic materials to feed your population. And then it all broke down in a very, very short order. And because you cannot feed your people, modern agriculture is an absolute necessity given the population numbers we have. And I think this is overall a larger part of a kind of autoimmune disease the West is affected by it, where we turn against everything that made our civilization powerful, right? It's energy. You can't do nuclear, which probably was the greatest scientific breakthrough in the 20th century, right? You can't do modern agriculture. And it goes further than this, right? We see this like a couple of days ago, the EU is threatening Elon Musk to ban Twitter. They have nothing to say about TikTok, which is basically a Chinese data mining operation, but they say, oh, we're going to ban Twitter. You guys don't censorship. So everything that kind of made the West, we are currently at war against. And just to add on to this is part of the program, because I just want to remind everyone, when Greta Thunberg, and I had a big book party of her new book, she openly said, so for me, it's no longer just about a climate, just about the environment. Now it's about changing the system. The Western capitalist system has to go, and this is the actual agenda.
And I mean, and Ralph, that's sort of my next question here. You know, you said that the ideological goals are sort of about climate and they say saving the planet, but how much of that is really just a cover for what is essentially, I think, a Marxist ideology, but also one that looks at a first world of Europe and Australia and America that is prosperous and has a prosperous middle class and says that's a problem. We actually want people to be dependent on the state, on the government, and because they have too much, because right now all of this prosperity creates independence and too much free thought and a lot of other things.
Oh yeah, that's absolutely true. I mean, I would add to this when we say, so why can we say that it is ideological? Let me give you one quick example. The European Union is now planning to fine the French 500 million euros because they didn't build enough renewables. However, the French emissions in electricity production are the lowest, among the lowest in the world, because they had so much nuclear. So they achieved the low emissions goal, but didn't build enough photovoltaic and solar, so they get punished. Which shows you that this is more about the altar of solar and wind at which they worship than it is about actually reducing emissions. The other point about the Marxism, I'm not so sure. I mean, it's for me, it's less Marxism than it is a kind of secular coming of a new form of reformation. If you listen to how they talk, it's about, society needs to be cleansed. And, we need to change our ways of life. This sounds more like the Puritans, I would argue, than the Marxists, right? It's about we need to eat less meat and take fewer showers. And so it's all about society needs to go a baptism of fire to cleanse ourselves from the sins of the past.
But it's also...
This is a quasi-religious movement.
But Ralph, it's also fascism, if you ask me. I mean, fascism is the marriage of authoritarian governments and big business, big corporations, and we're seeing that. One of the bizarre anomalies here, which just does not make any sense, food prices are up by about 20% in Europe. So you're seeing food prices going up, but the EU is trying to reduce the amount of food being produced. Now, you don't even have to be an economic genius to figure out that is going to push food prices up even further. So this is a suicide note, what they're embarking on. Who is behind this, and more importantly, who is resisting this?
Well, I think the problem is it's pressure from two sides, right? I think because you mentioned fascism, but the thing about fascism is fascism came, in uniforms and jackboots, right? This was really kind of top-down, forcefully, pushed down upon people. This is more insidious because you see this also in the United States a little bit. Now you have all these subsidies. So you subsidize the green economy, you subsidize all these things. So you pour money into a kind of macroeconomic Ponzi scheme, and this will go on for a while because, of course, many people say, well, if they who seem to know better or claim to know better are making sure that we still get more money, right? People are less, let's say, inclined to resist. I mean, this is all going to blow up at some point, and you mentioned it correctly. I mean, this is what we see currently in Europe. Right? Every month we hear this is going to be peak inflation, and the next month is this is going to be peak inflation. And we've reached a point where we say, oh, 8% inflation, what a great success. I mean, no, that is not a great success. Sure, it's not 15%, but it's still bad. So I think that the resistance is still not where it is supposed to be, because the problem is that everybody who is behind this or supports this, of course, is at the levels of power at the universities, in media, in culture. I mean, it's very difficult to raise your voice against this. I mean, I work at a university. I have to tread carefully here. I mean, I'm very lucky that my university allows me to do this. But this is really, given its puritanic ideological content, right? You really run the risk of being burned at the metaphorical stake if you try to resist these programs.
Absolutely. Ralph Schellhammer, we'll speak to you again soon, and we don't want to see you or us on that stake, but we'll all be there together, mate.
Hey, DJ, I just got your message. I was going to surprise you, but you came up here and surprised me instead. I need another. I got you. I got you. I've been up for like, I don't know how long, so I'll probably be up there and just put it on mute for a while and sleep in between your conversations. I have something going on right now, and I had to stay up for 24 hours just to do it on the computer. Keeps shutting off. My computer does. I'll tell you about it in the back room, but yeah. Anyway, it's coming down on us. DJ can come up here. She'll tell you right now what's going on to her place in the UK. And it's bullshit. They're deliberately destroying our lives. They want to not feed us anymore. They want us to feed us bugs. They want to eradicate us, terminate us because of the carbon. It's ridiculous. And you can tell this right now in America. Everything in America is happening over to other countries: Canada, UK, Germany, France, Australia, New Zealand, Peru, and probably other countries that I'm not even aware of. Oh, yeah, the Netherlands. It's all happening purposely because of Klaus Schwab and Joe Biden. No, Joe Biden ain't going to say nothing to China because he's compromised by China. If he says something, China will actually tell him, American people, what he did, and his son Hunter. And I hope they catch him with that, especially with the tweets at Twitter. I'm just talked about this. They just found enough fentanyl in coconuts to kill 5 million people. 7-year-old girl yesterday, got killed by a FedEx driver. He kidnapped her and 1 hour killed her. A FedEx driver. And nothing's being done by this. New York crime is just going up immensely. And the district attorney ain't doing nothing because George Soros pays him to do nothing. Just like the other blue states that are around here. But yet they want to get rid of our guns. Does that make a lot of sense? And the reason why these people are doing it, because there's no accountability. You can't stop them from doing anything. They put a rule in there. Will hurt, they don't. But you're the ones that put the laws or the rules to us to hurt. You'll be eating the best foods in the world. Biden had a big hors-d'oeuvre in the White House about 3 days ago. A guy from France, I forgot his name, the head honcho. They had lobster to eat, 200 lobsters. It was flown in. So they just do what they want to do. Spend all kinds of our money. Don't give a damn because they're not accountable. Now, if that would be me, head of the household, and I screwed up and I didn't get no income, you know damn well I wouldn't be eating. I'd be giving it to my kids. But not these people. They want to eat and give us shit. And that's exactly what's going on. And people are eating it up. The government's nothing but a big farce. It's a fake facade. It's a conundrum. The only way you can get out of this situation is 2 ways. One, start calling up your senators, write to them, protest nicely, or get out of the grid. Learn how to survive yourself. Go to land, plant food, get water, learn how to survive. The only way you can hurt the government is if they can't take money off you. If you have nothing to give them, they can't take nothing. And that's the only two ways you can do it. But American people, they won't stick up together. Let's see what's going on here. And it's just getting just totally ridiculous. Uh-oh. Let's hope Elon sorts out Twitter finally. They're trying to. They're fighting him left and right. They are. This fake news. Oh, by the way, CNN News, they just laid off a whole bunch of people. So people ain't watching CNN anymore. For now, anyway. But they laid off a whole bunch of people. Whoopee! Start seeing the good times finally. You better wake up, people. Seriously. And like I said, I don't know if you heard me before, but within 2 years, over 1 million people bought guns. And a lot of them were females. Bless your hearts. Keep it up. Don't allow them to have your guns. Because you're going to be in the same situation in 1998 when Australia gave their guns away. You don't want to be another China where they lock you indoors and people burn on the 5th floor when the door was sealed. They couldn't even get out. That was a big riot about in China right now. They're mad about it. They're tired of the communist ways. This is not the way to be. God gave us the freedom. Oh yeah, I call it Communist News Network, CNN. They're bad. They're terrible. But yeah, they laid off some people, a lot of people. Start fighting back one way or another, people. Find out who the corporations are that are funding these people. For instance, in 2020, we had Antifa. We had Black Lives Matter. Who was paying for them? Who was giving them the money? Just like this FTX person, Sam, what was his name? Friedman or something like that. He was donating money to the Democrats when he had his own Bitcoin cryptocurrency, and stole the money. Now he's in Panama, I think, or not Panama. I forget where he's at, but anyway, now he's hiding. Stole all that money, and he's going to get away with it because he paid off all the Democrat parties with it. This corruption's got to stop one way or another, and if not, get out of the grid. Get out of here. Do what you got to do. If you can survive, do it. Get yourself a piece of land or just take it. Build a garden, build a home, whatever you can do. But don't count on government. The government is not going to help you out. They're a bunch of liars, thieves, and con artists. They're actors. They're crazy people is what they are. Until they can be accountable for what they do, they go to jail. Not us. They do. And they pay fines out of their own money. Then America might be straightened out. But until then, when they can get away scot-free, where we can't, it's a two-tier justice system, and it's wrong. It's not going to work. I mean, they're putting us right over the coals and putting it to us. We've been duped. And it's a damn shame. I'm sick of my government. Sick of it. I hate to see what's going to happen next year when people starve. That's right, they are. They're all, that's right, all political parties with evil agendas. They are. That's all they are. They don't talk to the constituents. Only on election day. The only time they need your help. Other than that, we're peons. We're ants. We're workers. You're never going to see retirement. Believe me. They're taking money off your Social Security. They're allowing these illegals to come in without the Kool-Aid. They fly anywhere without any ID. New York tried to get these illegals to become 100% U.S. citizens so they could vote. It's all crooked. They got the best job in the world, these senators do, government workers. You think these governments are going to help you out? FBI, CIA, hell no. They got the best job in the world. They got dental, optical, best insurance, good money, and a relaxed job. They're not going to turn or be a whistleblower for anybody. They're going to keep their mouths shut because they're going to have themselves a good retirement. They get paid better than the military people. And our military people are being treated like bad, real bad. In fact, now we're understaffed for military. And I'm proud of the people that are not signing up for the military right now, the way they're doing to the military people. Over in West Point, 4 years people went to school in West Point. They graduated. They can't even get a diploma because they didn't get the Kool-Aid. Now they're shafted. This is Joe Biden's idea. We're 60,000 people short in the military. People ain't signing up, and I can't blame them. They don't do nothing for the veterans. Nothing. You go to the military, you're betting yourself that you're not going to die. They're betting you are. They don't care about vets, and no one cares about vets in the government. I don't care if it's UK, Australia, New Zealand, they don't care. Once they use you, you're done. And that's exactly what they're going to do to you American people. If they get power over you, you're done. And they will eradicate you. They will kill you. The less people they have, they can thin out the herd, the better it is for them. I mean, after all, they got robots now going to be taking our place. So why do they need us anymore? The only thing they will need us for, if it does happen right now, it'll be the draft. They'll be drafting people. Because we're shorthanded. And I'll tell you what, if we start fighting with Russia and China, we're done. We're depleted as it is for ammunition, our equipment. We gave it all to Afghanistan. I'm telling you, these people do not belong in leadership. They don't know how to run a government. They're not business-minded. All they care about is greed, money, how to screw the American people. And that's exactly what they're doing. That $1 trillion infrastructure, have you seen anything different? I haven't. Nothing at all. If they do get anything out of it to make something nice over here in America, it's shipped and made over China or India or Taiwan, not here in America. And if they do want to help somebody in America, it's always union people because they're paying off the union. It's not your average Joe Schmo, a small shop. It has nothing to do with us. It's all corruption, pure corruption. And it's bad, real bad. You want your kids to be in this kind of society? It's going to get worse. You won't be able to walk outside. You'll be scared to death to even walk because you won't know if a guy passes you by and hits you across the head, blindside you. You don't know if you're going to get shot. But your government people, they're all set. They got protection. That's protection in the world. We're paying for them. If they get caught doing a sexual act to a woman, no problem. Taxpayer pays it. He gets a lawyer, we pay for it all. They're all cahoots with each other. It's like a rah-rah team when you're in high school. You know, everybody's get together and, you know, the rah-rahs and, you know, the best of the best. Well, that's how they are here. If you don't belong in that clique, we don't want you. You have no money, we don't want you. And that's all it is. It's money. And you see it on TV, commercials. You always see an actor talking, oh, you know, or a contributor host for Fox News. Same people over and over again. You don't actually hear any American voices, actually blue collar workers who work for a living. You always see the rich talking out there. The people who don't hurt, the ones that smile, laugh, and giggle, who don't give a shit, the ones who get paid $1 million a year. Wake up, people. I'm telling you. Hell's coming, and it's coming in 2023. Now, what I understand right now is that in New York, they have a pilot program going on right now for that CBDC, Central Bank Digital Currency. If that kicks in, you're done. They'll control your money through a currency. They can shut it off anytime they want to. If you cause trouble with a neighbor, they can shut it off. If you have a warrant, a small warrant, A parking ticket, they can shut it off. If you buy too much milk, they can shut it off. Too much candy, they can shut it off. Cigarettes, booze. This is what CBDC is. It's a control thing. And if you don't bow down to their tyranny, when they say, give me your guns, you're cut off with your money. You're done. This is what's coming down, people, right now. And I wish people would wake up. Honestly. I'm ashamed of my government. I want nothing to do with my government anymore. They're all a bunch of bullshitters. That's just about it. People, I thank you very much for showing up. Hope I didn't blow up too much, but I'm telling you, if you can talk to people out there, people who want to listen, tell them what's going on, help them out as much as you can. I mean, I'm doing this for freebies here. I'm taking my time to do this. I'm not asking for money. I'm not asking for subscribers. I'm trying to help people out here. I have went through the chain of command in my life. I did everything that I was supposed to do in life. Went to high school, went to college, went to service. And when I needed help, they didn't do nothing for me, the government. Nothing. And that was VA hospital. They totally dismissed me. And I see it with other veterans as well. Because all that VA hospital is a funnel for money. That's all it is. And every year they ask for more money. Just like the government does. And if they want to get a raise, these senators, they vote right to it for themselves. I mean, they got the best job in the world, senators. They don't do nothing. Half of them don't even go to the doggone committees or the meetings. And still get paid. And everything's on the taxpayer's dollar. Fly here, fly there. Why don't they just have a conference call? Save for the carbon, the fossil fuel. But no, they fly all over the place. But they don't expect us to do it. Oh, by the way, May 3rd, 2023, be expecting. I guess Georgia already has it. It's called Real ID. You have to have a star on your new license. And without it, and you are a flyer, you cannot fly state to state. You got to have that ID called Real ID with the Kool-Aid, or you don't fly anywhere. So that's another control thing. Who are they to tell me what to do, when to do it? When they themselves do it, whatever they want to do. Screw them. They wouldn't know how to wash their clothes if they had to. They want us to go to war, but they sit on their asses and do nothing. They don't even send their kids over there. Hell, Biden and Trump, both of them, got a deferment for not going to the military. And I just found out Mitch McConnell was kicked out of the service for a real no-no thing, and they kept it real quiet. Sodomy. And that's my YouTube. So that's just about it, people. I thank you very much for let me blow a little steam here. Please help others out here. This YouTube is not here to cause trouble with other people. Bickering back and forth, blah, blah, did this, blah, 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 I'm going to dox you. This is what this is not for right here. This is not, no, not at all. This is trying to help people, trying to educate people. Because the news won't do it. The fake news. And this is what it should be used for. If we had enough people talking like I do, my God, they'd be scared to death to even breathe. They wouldn't know what to do. Let them think I'm a loony. I could care less. But I'm telling you, it's coming down. And when it does, I am going out here. My last one. And I'm going to say, everybody, I warned you. And I'm washing my hands and I'm shutting down. Then I'm watching myself. I'm getting myself prepared for this, people. In every possible way I can possibly think of. You better do the same. If you don't know how to do it, a lot of things I didn't know, look on YouTube. Survival, how to get heat in the house, how to get water, how to filtrate water. Get your medical, like bandages, peroxide, alcohol, food. It's out there. You just got to learn how to do it. One thing I can't do is I can't do a garden because of the way I am. Because VA didn't fix me. I walked in VA and I can't even walk now. They didn't do a damn thing. But I'll figure something out. I always do. All right, people. Good luck to you, honestly. And I'll catch you in a while. I'm going to be going to DJ's today. I'm going to blow her station up for a while. Thank you all. I do appreciate it. God bless you, and I'll catch you in a while. Thank you for showing up. Like I always said, y'all come back now, yeah?